ಗುರುರ್ದೇವೋ ಮಹೇಶ್ವರಃ ಗುರುಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಪರಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ತಸ್ಮೈ ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರವೇ ನಮಃ. ಓಂ ಓಂ ಓಂ. So, for some people who can't understand English, I summarize a little bit in between Kannada also. Okay, this is what I have been doing in all my talks. Partly Kannada, the same thing, whatever I said in Kannada, same thing I repeat in English. Whatever I said in English, same thing I repeat in Kannada. Those who do not know the other language, don't have to worry, you don't miss anything. I just repeat. Repetition is my nature, you know. I just repeat the same thing. So in the 7th, 8th and 9th, last class we discussed the 7th, 8th and 9th chapter shlokas of the 5th chapter. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಪಾಠದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 5ನೇ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ 7, 8, 9 these 3 ಶ್ಲೋಕಾಸ್, ಈ 3 ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡುವುದು ನೋಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ನೈವ ಕಿಂಚಿತ್ ಕರೋಮೀತಿ. ಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ದ ಎನ್ಲೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ who understand himself to be Brahman. Sarvabhutatma Bhutatma, which was said in the 7th shloka, means that he understands himself not as an individual but as one with the universal self. Sarvabhuta Atma Bhuta Atma. He is the Atma, he is the one who is the Atma, who is the self of all the beings, living and non-living. ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಆತ್ಮಭೂತರಾಗಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪವನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಹಿ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಹೂ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್, ಹೌ ಡಸ್ ಹಿ ಲಿವ್? ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಕುರ್ವನ್ನಪಿ ನ ಲಿಪ್ಯತೆ. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ he told the question was, see, the answer should be understood in relevant to the question. Arjuna's question was that why are you pushing me into karma? You tell me which one is better for me, whether karma yoga or sannyasa. Arjuna asked the question in the beginning of the 5th chapter. 5ನೇ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆಂದರೆ, ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗವು ಮಾಡುವುದೋ ಸನ್ಯಾಸವು ಮಾಡುವುದು. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಕರ್ಮ ಬಂಧನಕಾರಕ. ಕರ್ಮವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಐ ಗಿವ್ ಅಪ್ ದ ಕರ್ಮ, ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಮೋಕ್ಷ. ಕರ್ಮ ಬೈಂಡ್ಸ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೀ. ಬಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಪ್ರೇಸ್ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ, ಯು ಪ್ರೇಸ್ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ, ಅಡ್ವೈಸ್ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಸನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಶಂಸೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಅಡ್ವೈಸಸ್ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರೇಸಸ್ ಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ, ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ದ ರಿನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ಮಾಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಅರ್ಜುನ ಗೆಟ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ದೇರ್ಫೋರ್ ಅರ್ಜುನ ಆಸ್ಕ್ಡ್, ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ವಿಚ್ ಒನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ. So for that, in reply, Bhagavan Krishna started answering, both are good. Don't think Karma Yoga is something against Karma Sannyasa. Karma Yogavu Karma Sannyasakki viruddhavalla. Karma Yogavu Karma Sannyasakki anukulave horatu viruddhavalla. Karma Yoga is in keeping with, in the same direction of transcending karma. Karma Yoga is not reinforcing karma, but unwinding karma and preparing you for transcending it. So karma yoga is a peculiar way of doing the same karma, by which you transcend. You will be able to transcend karma rather than doing karma. So first you have to do it as a karma yoga. ಮೊದಲು ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಕರ್ಮದ ಬಂಧನವನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆವಾಗ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಕ್ಕೆ ಯೋಗ್ಯವಾಗ್ತೀರಿ. ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕಾಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ the really transcending karma is impossible, almost impossible. Because Karma Yoga prepares you, enables you to do that. After saying this in the up to 6th shloka, 7th he says, now when there is a real sannyasa, what is that real sannyasa? First you prepare with your Karma Yoga. ಮೊದಲು ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗದಿಂದ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಯಾವುದು ಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ, ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ, ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಕರ್ಮ, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಲರ್ನ್ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟುವುದು, ಸರ್ವಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸವನ್ನು ಯಾವನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವೋ ಅದು ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಿ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ದ 2 ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನ್ ಎನ್ಲೈಟೆಂಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಕರ್ಮ. ಇನ್ ದ 7th ಶ್ಲೋಕ 2 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. One is other, see there are 2 lines in the 7th shloka. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriya. All these are sadhanas. But the main thing is 2. Sarvabhuta atma bhuta atma. He understands that he is one with the self of all. Second is, although he appears to be doing from others, he doesn't do anything. He already transcended all karma. 2 points of Jnani, he says, he teaches here. One is that he is one with the total self, universal Atma. Second is that he transcends all karma. These 2 things. So, Karma Yoga prepares you, and after preparation you attain the real sannyasa. The real sannyasa is this. In the 7th shloka, in the 7th, 8th and 9th, in these 3 shlokas, what is that real sannyasa? He teaches here. Okay. What is that real sannyasa? The final sannyasa. Not a preparatory sannyasa. Karma Yoga is preparing for sannyasa. The physical renunciation is also a sannyasa. But the real is the discovering of the self as non-individual. You transcend the individuality, you transcend karma, both. That means neither there is karma nor there is individuality, nor karta. Neither karta nor karma. Both you transcend. Just a minute, I take my papers. I don't know, I have to make my notes. Okay. So here, in the next 8th and 9th, Jnani understands Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. I don't do anything. Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. This is the thing. That he understands that I don't do anything. So it is the sense organs, it is the one part of Prakriti. Body and mind and sense organs are one part of Prakriti. One part of Prakriti acts with another part of Prakriti, interacts. One part of Prakriti is in contact with another part of Prakriti. That is a subjective Prakriti is in contact with objective Prakriti, subject and object. One part of Prakriti is in contact with another part of Prakriti. That is, one is the subject and another is subject. Then I am neither. See, he says, Naiva Kinchit Karomi means I am neither. I am neither subject nor object. I am neither. I am beyond both. That is the thing he is teaching here. So, Naiva Kinchit Karomiti. Now here, this is both Vyavaharika standpoint as well as Paramarthika. It is not Vyavaharika alone. We are talking of Jnani's nature both from Vyavaharik standpoint and also Paramarthik standpoint. It is only a prakriya. Whatever we say, is a prakriya. How this prakriya works, let us see. First, you see the world is there, that I am a karta. World is there and I am a karta. This is the situation that we are. I identify myself with the body, mind and sense organs. I see myself as an individual, identify with the body, mind and sense organs. So this person has to transcend and understand himself to be the truth. For this, adhyasa is taught here. Let us take one avasthatraya prakriya. Okay. Now the world is taught as an avastha. World is taught as an avastha. The whole waking world is reduced to a state of waking, because world is if you take it as a world, if you understand it as a world, then you see world is as an existing reality on its own. But from this step, it goes into higher one, where it teaches the waking world is a part of a waking state. Just as dream world is a part of a dream state, dream world doesn't exist independent of dream state. Similarly, waking world is a part of the waking state. Waking state means the wakeful consciousness. Whatever is experienced within the wakeful consciousness is called waking as a state. So the world doesn't exist outside the waking state. It is a part of the waking state alone. That means when you are awake, then the world is experienced. When you cease to be awake, you have no waking world. When you cease to be awake, you have no waking world. ಜಾಗೃತ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವು ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಒಳಗೇ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದವನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಅನುಭವಿಸುವವನಿಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ. So waking world is experienced only by a waker. When he ceases to be a waker, there is no waking world. That means waking world is inseparable from the waking state. It doesn't exist independent of the waking state. This point shows world is an adhyasa. World is an adhyasa is a mithya pratyaya. Adhyasa ಅಂದರೆ ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವು ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡರೆ ಜಗತ್ತೆಂಬುದು ಒಂದು ಮಿಥ್ಯಾ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ, ತಪ್ಪು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಎಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ಎನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, not an objective reality, but is only a state of experience, of a state of experience. Waking is a state of experience, that is a waking state of experience, or a state of wakeful experience, whatever way you use it. It is a wakeful state alone, not something independent of the state. Now once you understand, come to this first step. The second step is waking is equated to dream. ಜಾಗೃತವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡರೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಏನೆಂದರೆ ಈ ಜಾಗೃತ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸರಿಸಮಾನವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಬೋತ್ ಆರ್ ಒನ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ waking world is understood as a waking state. Second step, waking state is equated with the dream state. Equated means what? They are one. How equated? Because waking world is a part of a waking state, just as the dream world is a part of a dream state. While experiencing dream world appears to be really there, but in fact it is a part of the dream state alone, doesn't exist independent of the dream state. Similarly, waking world is a part of a waking state. It doesn't exist outside the waking state, but waking state as a whole, if you take it, there is only a thought. See, waking state as a whole, if you take, it is only a thought. See, this is very interesting point. Appa. People have nothing else to do except quarreling, shouting, screaming. I closed all my windows, still I hear here only. Okay, what am I to do? I think I'll put some earphone. Appa. At least a little bit will be less. Yeah, slightly less. So, the waking dream as a state, if you take, there is only a thought without an object, isn't it? There is only a pratyaya. Pratyaya doesn't have a corresponding object. Because waking, dream as a state, take it, dream as a state, whole state, you have a thought of a state without the object being there. Or object is a part of the thought alone, object is not separately there. Similarly, waking as a state, if you take it, it becomes only a thought. That's why we equate. ನಾವು ಜಾಗ್ರತನ್ನು ಸ್ವಪ್ನವನ್ನು ಸರಿಸಮಾನ ಎಂದು ಏಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ, ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ ಇದೆ, ವೃತ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಹೊರತು ವಿಷಯವಿಲ್ಲ. ಕನಸನ್ನು ಒಂದು ವೃತ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ವೃತ್ತಿ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಥಾಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ವಿಷಯಗಳು ವೃತ್ತಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಇವೆ ಹೊರತು ವೃತ್ತಿಗಿಂತ ಬಿಡಿಯಾಗಿ ವಿಷಯವಿಲ್ಲ. ವೃತ್ತಿಯನ್ನೇ ವಿಷಯ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ವೃತ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಜ್ಞಾತೃಜ್ಞೇಯ ಇನ್ ದ ಡಿವಿಷನ್. ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ಹೋಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್, ಅದರ ಒಳಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾತೃಜ್ಞೇಯ ಎಂಬ ಎರಡು ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತಿನ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಒಳಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತವೆ, ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ. ಸೊ ದ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ದೀಸ್ ಟೂ are part of one wakeful consciousness, one wakeful thought, one wakeful state or wakeful experience, whatever you call. ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತಿನ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲೇ ಜ್ಞಾತೃಜ್ಞೇಯ ಎಂದು ಎರಡು ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತವೆ. ಅವಸ್ಥವನ್ನು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಷಯ ಬಿಡಿಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. There is no object, just as dream has no object other than the very thought of a dream, the state. Similarly, waking as a state, if you take, it is only a state without object, without the object being separate. ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತಿನ ಪದಾರ್ಥವು ಬಿಡಿಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಎಂಬುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತ್ಯಯ. ಈ ಹಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದರೆ ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವೇಟೆಡ್, ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್. ವೆನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್? ಯಾವಾಗ ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ? ವೆನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಈಕ್ವೇಟ್? ವೆನ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತನ್ನು ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿ ತಗೊಂಡರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚವು ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡಕವಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡರೆ, ದೆನ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ನೋ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಎಂಬುದು, ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಎಂಬುದು ಅವಸ್ಥವೇ ಹೊರತು ಪದಾರ್ಥವಲ್ಲ ಎಂದು ಮೊದಲೇ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ. ವಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನೋ ದಟ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎನ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಬಟ್ ರಿಗಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್, ಲಿಟಲ್ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವು ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯೇ. ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, then it is easy to equate waking state as a dream state as one, because both are state. That means there is only a state without the world being there. This is the second step in ಮಾಂಡುಕ್ಯ. ಇದು ಮಾಂಡುಕ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನೆಯ ಪಾದ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತದೆ. ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಪಾದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಪಾದ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಪಾದ is not part. ಪಾದ is a first step. in the ಮಾಂಡುಕ್ಯ ಪಾದ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಎಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. ಪಾದ ಮೀನ್ಸ್, ಲಿಟ್ರಲಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಾರ್ಟರ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್. ಸೊ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ದೆನ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಈಕ್ವೇಟೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ನೌ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. Both states put together become one, because both are thoughts alone without object being there. So this state is further merges into deep sleep. ಈ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಎರಡು ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿಸಿದ ನಂತರ ಒಂದೇ ಅವಸ್ಥಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಈಗ ಮೂರನೇ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಇದು ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮರ್ಜಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ. ಇದು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಗಳು ಬೋತ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ವೆನ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಟೆಡ್, ಯು ಸಿ ದೆಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. Because this one state merges into deep sleep. Now this merging is a little, has to be, we have to dwell on this thing. ಈ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. We have to do little thinking about this thing. Now world merges into deep sleep or the state. Now state alone we call it. State means it is both waking and dream we have equated. We have equated waking with dream or dream with waking, both are one because both are states. Therefore state of a thought, both are state of a thought alone. Therefore we have equated. This waking or dream merges into deep sleep. ಈ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಎರಡು ಒಟ್ಟುಗೂಡಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. When it merges in deep sleep, what happens? Let us see. You say that waking merges in deep sleep. The question comes, has anybody seen waking state merging into deep sleep? ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದನ್ನು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರಾ? Has anybody experienced waking state merging into deep sleep or dream? Let us take dream also, okay. The dream state merging into deep sleep, nobody has seen. Then why do you say that it has merged? ಅದು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡಿತ್ತು ಎಂದು ಏಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ? ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರಾ ಯಾರಾದರೂ? It is not possible to see that the dream state merging into deep sleep. Why? As long as you are waker or dreamer, waker both same. As long as you are an experiencer of a state, ಜಾಗ್ರತವನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸುವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಇರುವವರೆಗೂ ನೀವು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. ಆಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ವೇಕರ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯ ಅನುಭವ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಗುವ ಸಂಭವವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆಗುವ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏಕೆ? ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಾಗಿರುವವರೆಗೂ. ಆಸ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ವೇಕರ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ದ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೋ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ I am seeing, I am a waker, I am going to sleep. As long as you entertain this thought that I am going to sleep, you remain a waker alone, you will never go to sleep. When the very wakerhood is erased, there is already sleep. When the wakerhood is erased, when the wakership, ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಅನುಭವ ತಾನೇ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೊರತು ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದು ನೋಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಡ್. ನೋಬಡಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮರ್ಜಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಸಿ ದಟ್, ದೆನ್ ವೈ ಡು ಯು ಸೇ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಅದರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಟ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ಡ್. ವಿ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಟ್. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ, ಅನುಭವ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಗೆ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಂಬುದು ಬಿಡಿಯಾಗಿಲ್ಲವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್? ನೀವು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಾಗ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್? ಐದರ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, has come to deep sleep, or you must have carried the waking state along with you and merged into deep sleep. Only two things are possible. ಜಾಗ್ರತನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ತನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿಸಬೇಕು. ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ಆರ್ ಲೀವ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಆದರೂ ಬಿಡಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ತನ್ನ ಒಳಗೆ ಆದರೂ ಸೇರಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು, ತನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಳುಗಿಸಬೇಕು. ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದೇ ಹೊರತು ಈಗ ಎರಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮೂರನೇದಿಲ್ಲ. ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟೂ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್. ಐದರ್ ಯು ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ದ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ, ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್. ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಾಮ್ನಾಯವನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೋದೆ, ಇದು ಹೊಂದುತ್ತದ? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ, ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್. ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಟ್ರೂ? ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಟ್ರೂ? ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ. Waking state you can't live, because once we told waking is a state. State means an experience. ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಅನುಭವ ಎಂದರ್ಥ. ಅನುಭವಿಸುವವನೇ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಯಾರಿಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ? When the very experiencer of the waking state himself has merged, is not there, when the very waking experiencer himself is not there, how can there be a waking state? Waking as a state is only an experience. Okay, when the waking experiencer himself is not there in deep sleep, how can there be the waking state? Note this, watch this, this is important. Just as when you wake up from the dream, can you say that the dream world is continuing there? ನಾನು ಸ್ವಪ್ನದಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚರಗೊಂಡರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಬಹುದಾ? ಆರು ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲವೇ ಇಲ್ಲವಾ? ವೆನ್ ಯು ವೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಡ್ರೀಮ್, ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ illustration. When you wake up from the dream, can you say that the dream world is continuing there? It doesn't continue, because dream is a dream as long as you experience it. ಸ್ವಪ್ನವು ಯಾವವರೆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆಂದರೆ ನೀವು ಅನುಭವಿಸುವವರೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವು ಸ್ವಪ್ನ. ಅನುಭವಿಸುವುದು ನಿಂತು ಹೋದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನವಿಲ್ಲ. When the experience stops, dream ceases to exist. Dream is a state as long as you experience it. When you stop experiencing, dream ceases to be there. ಸ್ವಪ್ನವು ಅನುಭವಿಸುವವರೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾವಸ್ಥಾ. ಅನುಭವ ನಿಂತು ಹೋದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾವಸ್ಥಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ dream is just experience. Therefore, as long as you experience, so long it is a dream. When you cease to experience, there is no state at all. Similarly, as long as you experience the waking state, there is a waking state. When you don't experience it, waking ceases to be a waking. Isn't it? ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸುವವರೆಗೂ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥಾ. ಅದು ಅನುಭವವೇ ನಿಂತು ಹೋದರೆ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಂಬುದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಬಹುದಾ? ಅದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ವೆನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಇನ್ ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್, ಕೆನ್ ಐ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಐ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಮೈ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಕೆನ್ ಐ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಐ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಮೈ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ಹಿಯರ್? ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಸೇ ದಟ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ you can't leave the waking state elsewhere and stay in the deep sleep. Why? ಜಾಗೃತನ್ನು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುವುದು ಹೊಂದಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಜಾಗೃತ್ is an avastha, is an experience. ಜಾಗೃತ್ as a state is an experience. If you are not experiencing, there is no state. And that experience ceases, state ceases. Isn't it? Ceases means it is not there. When you are not experiencing, waking is not there. Then somebody may say, okay, I am not experiencing it now when I am in deep sleep. Okay, I am not experiencing the waking state when I am in deep sleep. But when I come back to waking state, I see that it is continuing as ever. It is continuing. True. ಮತ್ತು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಿಜ. ಆದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಗೃತಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಗೃತ ಹಿಂದಿನಂತೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತದಲ್ಲವೇ? ಹೌದು, ಮುಂದುವರಿಯಲಿ. ಇಫ್ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥಾ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ. But thing is, when you say that the waking is continuing, only as a waker you talk of the waking. See, when you are not a non-waker cannot think of a waking state. To think of a waking state again as a waker alone, you can think of the waking state. ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥವನ್ನು ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವೇ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಹೊರತು ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರುವಾಗ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ಟೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಬಿಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. The waking state, neither you, waking state, neither I kept it or left it, nothing. Because it is only a waker alone who experiences the waking state. It is the waking experiencer alone experiences the waking state. He alone can think of the waking state. When there is no waking experience, there is no state. Now you say that after I come back to waking state, it continues. That means again as a waker alone you can think of waking state. Again as a waker alone. We are talking of when you are not a waker. ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವಿ ಆಗಿಯೇ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವವೇ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಏನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವದಿಂದಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. When you say that after I come back to waking, that only means as a waker alone you talk of waking state. As a waker, note that point, underline it. As a waker alone you talk of waking state. Okay, in deep sleep you are not a waker. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ್ರತ ಅನುಭವ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ when you are in deep sleep, you are not a waker, so you have no waking state. Then you can say that yes, waking state is not there during my sleep. Then where is it? You can only say that I have carried it with me and merged into deep sleep. Then ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಹೇಳುವುದೇನೆಂದರೆ, ಎರಡನೆಯ ಪ್ರತ್ಯಾಮ್ನಾಯ, ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಹೊರಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. If the waking state is not existing outside, because for the waking state to exist, I must experience it. If I erase my experience, waking can't exist. Like dream. Dream is a state only when I experience it. If I cease to be its experiencer, dream cannot exist as a state. Isn't it? Dream ceases to exist if I don't experience it. Similarly is the waking. ಸ್ವಪ್ನವು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನುಭವಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ, ಅನುಭವ ನಿಂತು ಹೋದರೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಾವಸ್ಥವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಜಾಗ್ರತ್ತು ಅನುಭವಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥಾ, ಅನುಭವವೇ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಯಿತು, ಓಕೆ. Then second alternative, can we say that we have taken the jagrada avastha along with you, the waking state along with you into the deep sleep? You have taken it and merged into it. Or ಎರಡನೆಯದು ಹೇಳಬಹುದಾ, ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು, ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. I have merged into deep sleep. That looks possible. But nobody has seen it. ಯಾರೂ ಅನುಭವಿಸಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಜಾಗ್ರದ ಅವಸ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಸುವುದು ಯಾರೂ ನೋಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಹೊರಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿರಬೇಕು? If it does not exist outside, then where else should it exist? If it were not outside, then it must have merged into me. Otherwise, where else? Where else it is? It must be there somewhere, either outside or it must have merged into me during deep sleep along with me. It has merged into me, into my deep sleep. In fact, I am the deep sleep. So my individuality merges into me who is deep sleep. ನನ್ನ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಎಚ್ಚರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಎಚ್ಚರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ both merge into the deep sleep experience, which is infinite. Now, the world or the waking state has merged into deep sleep. Now, once it merges into deep sleep, now you are a deep sleep. From deep sleep, you look at the waking state. How do you see that? that the waking state arises in me, stays in me and merges back into me. I remain as a deep sleep. See, this is the third step. Third step is you are the deep sleep. Deep sleep means the pure existence which you are. From you, like water you are, and the waking state is like a wave. ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಂಬುದು ತರಂಗ, ಅಲೆ ಹಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ನೀನು ಜಲ, ನೀನು ನೀರು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಜಾಗೃತಾವಸ್ಥೆ ಅಲೆ ಹಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. You are like water and the waking state is like a wave. So wave arises from water, stays in water or merges back in water. You stay as a water and look at the wave. Earlier step was I was a waker going into sleep and coming back. My earlier understanding was common man's understanding. I was a waker going to deep sleep and coming out. When you go to deep sleep and come out, you go to the sleep as a guest because you originally belong to the waker. Originally you are a waker. ಮೂಲತಃ ನೀನು ಜಾಗೃತಿನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದು ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಇದ್ದು ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಚ್ಚರಕ್ಕೂ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನಾನು ಜಾಗೃತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನೇ. If I am originally waking person and as a waking person I go to deep sleep, then I go there as a guest. I stay there and I come back. I think that I am going to sleep and coming back. This was the thought of a common man. I am basically a waking person. Common man's thinking. Two preliminary step. As a common man, preliminary man's thinking ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪಾಮರರ ದೃಷ್ಟಿ ಹೀಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಮೂಲತಃ ಜಾಗೃತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ, ನಾನು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಒರಿಜಿನಲಿ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಎ ವೇಕರ್, go to deep sleep and come back. But now we have understood that you are a sleeping person. Waking arises in you, appears in you and merges back in you. You remain a deep sleep. ನಾನು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ, ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಚ್ಚರ ತೋರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಹುಟ್ಟುತ್ತದೆ, ತೋರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. ನಾನು ಮಾತ್ರ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ. Because I am a deep sleep, I am the deep sleep in which in me the waking state arises. My individuality and the world, this waking as a state arises in me, appears in me and again merges back into me. But I am the sleep. See, this is the third step. First step was ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ನಾಟ್ ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಜಾಗೃತ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವು ಅವಸ್ಥೆಯೇ ಹೊರತು ಪ್ರಪಂಚವಲ್ಲ. ಎರಡನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್, ದೆನ್ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ ಟೂ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್, ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಥಾಟ್. ಜಾಗೃತ್ತು ಅವಸ್ಥೆ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಈಗ ಜಾಗೃತಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಪ್ನಕ್ಕೆ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸವಿಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡು ಒಂದಾಗುತ್ತವೆ, ಎರಡು ಸರಿ ಸಮಾನ. ದೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಒನ್. You see them as united as one. Waking is united with the dream. That was the second step. ಅದು ಎರಡನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ. ಮೂರನೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ waking state which is merged with the dream merges into, which is joined with the dream merges into deep sleep. This is the third step. So waking as a state merges into deep sleep, appears, when it appears, rises from the sleep, appears within that and merges back into it. Now you are no more looking as a waker, you are looking as a sleeping sushupti, deep sleep, and waking arises in you and disappears in you. ನಾನು ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ, ನನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗೃತ್ತು ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ತೋರ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ, ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಲಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ನನ್ನಿಂದಲೇ ಜನ್ಮಿಸಿ ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ತೋರಿಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಲಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. So it appears in me, rises in me, appears and merges. Now the fourth step turiya is how does waking state rise? Because sushupti is infinite. Note it. Sushupti is timeless. Sushupti is beyond time and space. It is infinite. Once sushupti is infinite, how can you think of there is something outside and you have come to sushupti? Because there is nothing outside, inside. I'll give you an example which is easy for you to understand. A pot space merges into deep sleep, into total space. ಘಟಾಕಾಶ ಮಹಾಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. ಘಟಾಕಾಶ ಮಹಾಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ? When you say pot space merges into the total space, what do you mean? Merging means what? Was it separate from it ever? Merging assumes, the pot space merging into total space assumes that pot space was something outside the total space. Assuming that pot space was outside it, you again negate it that it is not outside. See, you assume that pot space is outside and think that it is merging into total space, isn't it? Was pot space outside the space? Outside how? Where else it can go? ಘಟಾಕಾಶವು ಮಹಾಕಾಶಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇತ್ತ? ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಅನಂತಾಕಾಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತದೆ? ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಘಟಾಕಾಶ ಬಂದು ಮಹಾಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲು ಹೊರಗೆ ಇತ್ತ? ಅದು ನೋಡು. ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್, ವಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಇಟ್? ವಾಸ್ ದ ಪಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್? ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಲೆಸ್. ಮಹಾಕಾಶಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಗೆ ಎಂಬುದು ಊಹಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಈವನ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ಲೆಸ್. ಅದು ಅರ್ಥರಹಿತ. ಘಟಾಕಾಶವು ಮಹಾಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಸೇರಲಿಲ್ಲವಾ? ವಾಸ್ ಪಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮರ್ಜ್? ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಮರ್ಜ್, ವಾಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೂ? For the part space to come and merge into the total space, what should it do? Was it outside? Assuming that it was outside, you thought of merging, but the merging is only a adhyaropita. That part space merged into total space is only assuming that it was outside, you thought of merging. ಘಟಾಕಾಶವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಇದ್ದೆ ಎಂದು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ ತಪ್ಪಲ್ಲವೇ? ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ನಾಟ್? ಸಿ, ಅಸ್ಯೂಮಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಪಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್, ಯು ಥಾಟ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಮರ್ಜ್. ಬಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಪಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್? That assumption that part space was outside, it has to come and merge, itself is wrong, because first assumption that it was outside itself is wrong. Then what is the Turiya? Turiya says that your very assumption that it was outside gets negated. It negates it. Assuming that it was outside, you think of merging it. But the very assumption is wrong. How can there be outside the space? Nothing is outside the space. Oh, that is true. How did I miss it? Yes, you missed it. You misunderstood it. Once you touch this thing, yeah, that is true. The part space cannot be outside. It was already part of it. It was never away. That's what we mean. That's what we are trying to say. So part space was never outside the space. Therefore, no question of merging. When you say part space has merged into total space, you assumed that part space was outside and then thought of merging it. This was a third step. But the fourth step, called Turiya in Mandukya Upanishad, the Turiya means, the fourth step means that it was outside itself is wrong, because total space is infinite. Nothing can be outside the space. That means it was already one with it. That means no merging. Then what do you do? That it was separate, the very thought is negated. The very thought of its separateness is negated. ಘಟಾಕಾಶವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಹೊರಗೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲವೇ ಬಂದು ಸೇರಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. ಹೊರಗೆ ಇರುವುದೇ ತಪ್ಪು ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದೇ ನೇತಿ ನೇತಿ. ನೇತಿ ನೇತಿ, negation means this, that assuming that it was outside itself is wrong. Then no question of merging, because it was never outside. Similarly, first you thought that waking rises from deep sleep. It appears for a while and merges back into me. This is the third step. Now the fourth step we are talking, does it merge first? Was it outside? Because sushupti is, deep sleep is infinite. How can there be anything outside infinite? There can't be anything outside infinite. That means the very thought that waking state was rising from deep sleep, appearing and merging itself is a wrong, because nothing can rise away from infinity, isn't it? In mathematically, we were taught in our school days, infinite plus 1 is infinite. Infinity minus 1 is infinity. In maths, school days, they used to tell us. We were wondering, how is that? Infinity plus 1 is infinite. Oh my God, what a mathematics it is. What a counting is it? For any number, for 5 you add 1, it becomes a 6. Something, an addition. You add something, an addition. Something can be added. Something can be minused. You can remove things. But regarding when it comes to infinity, infinity plus 1 is infinity. Infinity minus 1 is infinity. Oh, we were surprised. Oh my God, what a mathematics is it? What a wonder it is it. Infinity plus 1 is infinity. The teacher would tell and then laugh at us. Oh my God, you people are too small children, unable to understand. Infinity plus 1 is infinity. Infinity minus 1 is infinity. We were surprised. How is that? We were all thinking. But later on, when I came to Vedanta, I understood, what do you mean by that? I asked the question, infinity plus 1? How can you add 1? Tell me. Where is that 1? Where did you get that 1 to add? Infinity plus 1? That is ridiculous. Nobody can add anything to infinity. Where did you get that 1 in order to be able to add to the infinity? ಅನಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ದರೆ ಅನಂತವೇ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. ಅನಂತದಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಚೂರು ತೆಗೆದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಅನಂತವೇ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಗಣಿತಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅನಂತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸೇರಿಸ್ತೀರಿ? ಸೇರಿಸುವುದಂದರೆ ಮಾತುಕರ್ತವೇನು? ಅನಂತಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೊರಗೆ ಏನಾದರಿದೆ ಸೇರಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ? ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಟು ದ ಇನ್ಫಿನಿಟಿ? ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ದ ವೆರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. Infinity plus 1 is infinity. I say, where did you get that in 1? Where did you get plus 1? How do you add? You can't add because there is nothing plus 1. What you call plus 1 is already part of infinity. How can you add 1? See, for children they would tell, but how can you add plus 1 to the infinity? There is nothing plus. Whole infinity means it is all inclusive. Once it is all inclusive, you can't add anything to it. How can you add? What you want to add was already part of infinity. Nothing can be added. Therefore, waking merges into deep sleep. How can you merge? Waking was never away from deep sleep, because deep sleep is infinity. Once you understand infinity, nothing rises from deep sleep to the outside. Where is outside? It is infinity. Nothing can go away from infinity. Therefore, no question of coming back. That there was something away itself is a wrong. This adhyasa is negated by neti neti. You understand Turiya. There is only one non-dual. Okay? Therefore, assuming that there was something outside, you merge back. But first thing is, why do you assume? On what basis? That the waking was outside itself is a wrong. Because Sushupti is infinity. There could be nothing outside Sushupti, nothing outside deep sleep, because Sushupti is Ananta, infinity. Sushupti is Ananta or infinity. There can be nothing outside infinity. That means what? Your earlier assumption that it is coming and merging is wrong. This is called neti neti. This is called neti neti means because earlier you assuming that it is outside, you merge it. But now we are questioning the very assumption. Then the neti neti, it falls off. Neti neti is a word, Sanskrit word in the Upanishads, which we teach it only to negate, everything negated, negation. Okay, neti neti means negation, is a Sanskrit word, is a commonly used in Vedanta. So since you are familiar, I am using that word neti neti. That means negating. The negation assumes that it was separate. Oh, what are you negating? That it was separate itself is wrong. That means there is already one. Now, being non-dual, Advaita is one. Now, Advaita, when we say, there is nothing separate from it, nothing addition to it, nothing apart outside it. If it were outside, you have to come and merge it. The very understanding that there can be nothing outside. See, here you are assuming a separate one and negating it. But Advaita means not even negation. Negation necessarily requires assumption of something separate. Only assuming that there is separate, you negate it. Therefore, negation is also teaching, but the truth is beyond the teaching. Even the negation, it doesn't require. The truth is non-dual. Non-dual means what? You are negating the second. That negation is only a teaching, is a prakriya, is a method of teaching. But the truth itself is, you can't speak anything. Because it is just is. It is everything. Even to say everything again is a prakriya. Assuming that it is one, generally we assume that it is one of the things. It is something specific, exclusive. You say, no, don't exclude it. Don't exclude anything from it. It is not something a given thing. It is all inclusive. Even all inclusive is only a way of teaching. Yellavu tane embudu prakriya is a method of teaching. Nothing is outside is also a method of teaching. The truth itself cannot be taught. Therefore, anything you say, the moment you utter, you are assuming something and talking. Therefore, every teaching assumes some adhyasa. Otherwise, you cannot speak. No teaching can take place. The truth itself is beyond the teaching. You can't teach anything because it is it. It is there. That's all. It is it. Even to assume that there is outside, you negate it. Assuming that there is something excluded, then you include it. Therefore, this is a fourth step called Turiya in Mandukya Upanishad's language, where you negate everything. But merging means you assume that it is separate and then you merge it. See, the merging and negation, there is a difference. ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಲಯವಾಗುವುದು ಅಥವಾ ಸುಷುಪ್ತಿ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ನಿಷೇಧ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದ್ವಿತೀಯ ಎಂದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೇತಿ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುವುದು. ಲಯ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನೇತಿ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಇದೆ. ಲಯ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ assuming that the world is outside, you merge into it. Merge into this deep sleep. But it was never away. That means you negated it. You understand that earlier assumption that it was away itself is wrong. Then there is no separation. No question of negation. Negation implies that your assumption itself was wrong. That it was away is wrong. Sushupti is infinity. The deep sleep is infinity. Infinity is all inclusive. All inclusive means it is a non-dual. There was nothing away. Then where is the question of merging? Merging is meaningless because nothing was separate from it. This is the understanding of Turiya. Therefore, one who understands these things, he doesn't do anything because there is no question of doing, non-doing doesn't arise. See, doing, non-doing, assuming the body, you talk of doing and non-doing. Okay? Assuming the individuality, you talk. See, it is an individual who does karma or who gives up karma, abandons karma, he renounces karma. ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡುವುದ, ಕರ್ಮ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡುವುದ? ಆತ್ಮಸ್ವರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಮ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಇಲ್ಲ. In the nature of Atma, in the real nature of Atma, neither doing karma nor giving up karma. Neither. Because both of them assume individuality. Atma by itself is neither karma nor sannyasa. The sannyasa is only by assuming karma, you talk of sannyasa, you talk of renunciation. But the Atma itself is, the very nature of Atma is renunciation. There is nothing other than it. Therefore, assuming karma, you talk of renunciation. But the Atma's very nature is itself. That's all. You can't say anything about it. You can't speak about it. Therefore, naiva kinchit karomiti. When it says Jnani doesn't do anything, assuming the karma, he is negating here. See? Jnani doesn't do anything. That means a possibility, probability of doing is assumed, then negated. Because any doing requires moving from one point to another point, one state to another state. This is called moving. When he is everything, no movement is possible. No action is possible. Because he is all pervasive, he is everything. Therefore, Jnani, from his own standpoint, he is whole. No karma, no dropping. Neither karma is there, nor renunciation is there. Neither karma nor renunciation. Nothing. So karma is also assumed, imposed. Renunciation is also superimposed. He is neither karma nor renunciation. He is just neither. He is just non-dual Brahman. Okay. So the Brahma Swarupam itself is Brahma Swarupadalli karmavೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸನ್ಯಾಸವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಅಂದರೆ ಕರ್ಮ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡು ಸನ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. The renunciation is talked about assuming that there is karma, but neither there is karma nor there is renunciation. He is just he. That is non-dual Advitiyam Brahma. Okay. The 3 shlokas I explained, 3 shlokas. Now we proceed to the 10th, 11th and 12th shloka. I think time is up. I have taken extra time. We will discuss in the next class. The same 7th, 8th and 9th I explained a little more detail. 10th, 11th and 12 we will discuss in the next class. 10, 11, 12 ಈ 3 ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿನ ಪಾಠದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳೋಣ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಮಯೋಗ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. These following the next 3 shlokas deal with karma-yoga. This present 3 shlokas deal with Atma Swarupam, which is free from everything. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Harihi Om Tat Sat.